Hello and welcome to the evening news for Thursday, January 23, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Ganga Prasad resigns as local government minister. Colwyn Harding to undergo medical treatment in Jamaica. Opposition says it's too late for talks on budget 2014. GYSM says too much time is being wasted on national youth policy. Comfort sleep fires were maliciously set and farmer fined for threatening to kill brother. Now for the news in detail. Ganga Prasad has resigned from his job as local government minister within the Donald Ramotar government. The minister's resignation is reported to take effect from January 31, 2014. Let's find out more in this report.
In a shocking move today, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Ganga Prasad submitted his resignation letter to the National Assembly. In a press release issued by Prasad, he cited some personal issues and responsibilities as being the reason for his resignation. The minister had also reiterated his support for the People's Progressive Party and reaffirmed his confidence in ruling President Donald Ramotar. During his tenure as Minister of Local Government, he saw the establishing of a local government department that provides support to neighborhood democratic councils and municipalities and several other key projects. Minister Prasad has also served in several key positions prior to his appointment as Minister of Local Government and Regional Development in 2009. He served as Permanent Secretary for 3 ministries and was also the Chairman of the Public Service Commission. He also worked in the education field as a teacher and later Regional Education Officer. Kelawan Lal served as Minister of Local Government and Regional Development prior to Prasad's appointment. Minister Prasad's resignation will take effect on January 31st. Anara Khan reporting for the Evening News.
The man who was allegedly raped and tortured by a police officer will be flown to Jamaica to undergo medical treatment. The investigation into this matter will also be launched there. Samuel Suknan reports.
Colwyn Harding, who was allegedly sodomized and tortured by a police officer attached to the Tomiri police station, will be taken to Jamaica for medical treatment, while simultaneously an investigation into the matter will be launched. Opposition leader David Granger said that he is happy to see that Harding will now receive proper medical treatment, especially since there were great fears that the environment was not conducive to a full recovery for him.
Yes, we called for an inquiry from the start, and we are very unhappy with the presentation made by the Minister of Health in the National Assembly, and we are very unhappy with the way the whole matter has been handled since it occurred on the 15th of November. This is 10 weeks, and we are glad to get him out of the jurisdiction so he can get proper attention by responsible professional people.
Meanwhile, several local human rights activists also condemned the act perpetrated against Harding and said that it's time that such harsh human violations stop in the country.
The nation has been twisted out of proportion. That act has turned our nation into one of the most monstrous states on the planet. That act in itself. And all of us, every single Guyanese, I would say, is guilty. I'm sorry, I really mean that. We have to do something about police brutality as a people.
The alleged rape and beating with a baton is the latest in a series of incidents of torture by the police which have happened over a number of years. Incidents of torture, incidents of extrajudicial killings which are going unchecked. And we're saying no, a complete no in this last, where this last incident is concerned. And calling for an independent, immediate investigation so that the perpetrators can be brought to justice.
We're really enraged at what happened to Colwyn Harding. We know that he's not the only person. I personally don't feel that the police, confident that the police are going to do a proper investigation, and like others, I think we should really have an independent investigation into this matter.
Harding alleged that he was raped by a police rank attached to the Tomiri police station. He accused the police rank of shoving a baton with a condom into his rear while he was in police custody for a theft allegation. Since the incident, the young man has been hospitalized. The matter was first brought to the forefront after the mother of the young man decided to approach the media. The Office of Professional Responsibility, OPR, has since launched an investigation into the allegation. All the ranks at the Tomiri police station have denied their involvement. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Police Force, in a two-paragraph statement to the media today, confirmed that it is now seeking legal advice of the Director of Public Prosecution, Bibi Shalimar Ali Haq, on the Colwyn Harding fiasco. It also confirmed that the investigations by the Police Office of Professional Responsibility into the allegations against police ranks of the Timeri Police Station made by Harding have been completed. The police force is now in the process of seeking legal advice in the matter through the chambers of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Alex Mendonça, an 18-year-old resident of West Rheinfeldt, was today remanded after he appeared before Magistrate Priya Sinarain Bihari, charged with possession of illegal firearms. Mendonça, who was represented by Attorney at Law George Thomas, pleaded not guilty to the charge, which alleged that on January 21 at West Rheinfeldt, he had in his possession 1.32 Taurus pistol and 26 rounds of match and ammunition. Police prosecutor Michael Grant told the court that, acting on information, ranks went to the residence of the accused, where they found the articles mentioned in his bedroom after conducting a search in the premises. The defendant was transferred to Court 3, where a date was set for report on fixture. Mendonça had previously appeared in court charged with robbery with violence after it was alleged that he robbed Wendy Williams of one gold band. The charge was later dismissed after the defendant had declined to bear witness. He was also previously charged with the possession of an ice pick without lawful authority or reasonable cause. The Private Sector Commission is gearing itself to be part of discussions with the government on the 2014 national budget. Natasha Aziz reports.
Chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Ronald Webster, says that he expects the 2014 budget discussions to commence soon so that the private sector could make several proposals on its content. Webster, speaking during an interview with this newscast, also expressed concern over the several developments which had undermined the overall growth of the economy last year.
We've lost a lot of ground last year. We need to change the environment. We need to bring investment into the country. So it's going to be important that the minister looks at ways and means of attracting investment in.
Webster said that it is the private sector that has the responsibility to make this become a reality, noting that it should not be left entirely to the government. Meanwhile, President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Clinton Erling, explained the need for the issues of tax reform and tariffs on certain imports to be addressed condignly.
I think there's certain broad areas that our discussions would be focused on. Expansion in terms of consumer spending in the economy would be one of those areas. Initiatives that go towards that. I don't want to comment specifically on any one specific. Last year we had a reduction in the consumption, not consumption tax, income taxes. Maybe we can look at that, or we can look at some other measures. I know, for instance, foodstuff, that's an area where imported meats are very expensive because of high tariff. The Chamber will definitely be discussing the possibility of reducing the tariff on imported meats. Secondly, security. And security as it relates primarily to our extractive and mining sectors. Those are the sectors that are bringing in the most funds and monies into our economy. And I think more attention needs to be placed on security for those sectors. So I expect an increased security budget targeting the security sector.
For the Evening News, Natasha Aziz.
Well, it doesn't look too bright at this point, and in this report we'll hear that both of the opposition political parties say that it is too late to hold budget talks, especially since there is only a few more weeks left before the actual budget is to be presented. Samuel Supnana reports.
Leader of the Partnership for National Unity, David Granger, said there has been bad communication on the part of government as it relates to budget talks, which led to delay in this process. Granger told this newscast that the party's finance point person, Carl Greenwich, was however able to trace the communication from Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh, but noted that it remains unsatisfactory.
I maintain my view that the communication has been inadequate between coming from Dr. Singh. Mr. Greenwich has always been ready to participate in talks, and we maintain that position. But at present, it's coming to the end of January, and we feel that the budget preparations would have gone very far, much to the exclusion of APNU.
Meanwhile, leader of the Alliance for Change, Kenraj Ramjatan, said there have never been any budget talks. He explained that while this was initially set to begin in July of 2013, this was never put into force.
But I understand from ministry officials the budget is already completed. So it's just wasting our time.
But what about submission? You would have submitted something?
Oh, we would have had a lot of submissions to submit, but we wanted to see what he was preparing so as to have some insights as to how we're going to manage ours.
And even though the minister would approach you now, the time is too limited.
Oh, it is absolute nonsense now to talk about anything about budget inputs from the opposition. He has closed the deal, and he deliberately wanted to do that.
On the other hand, Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh said the opposition seems to be interested in derailing talks and prejudicing the public perception about the tone of the meetings when it comes to Budget 2014. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
Allegations published in the Kaichor newspaper dated November 6, 2013 that the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall was used as a slaughter ground for goats were overturned by Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today in Parliament. A Partnership for National Unity Member of Parliament Christopher Jones questioned the minister extensively in the Parliament regarding the article. While admitting that he heard about the article, Dr. Anthony said investigations revealed that there was no such activity at the sports facility. He reiterated that permission was never granted for such activities. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned, more news still ahead. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Speaking at the Tourism Stakeholder Forum held at Palm Court last night, both Tourism Minister Irfan Ali and President Donald Ramatar stated that the tourism sector will be one of the key economic-driven sectors that will contribute significantly to the development of Guyana. More from Anara Khan.
Tourism Minister Irfan Ali noted that 2014 started on a good note, pointing out all the activities that have taken place for the month, such as the Night of Love concert, the opening of the Parkview Hotel, and the announcement of Copa Airlines coming to Guyana. Ali then disclosed some of the ministry's plans for the sector this year. He stated that the government is working on having a calendar of national events as part of the sector's strategy to attract tourists.
I believe that this tells a story of a sector that is rising, a sector that is seeking to push forward. And what it calls for now is for some serious critical thinking as to how we move forward. What are the areas we want to focus on as our niche? And how are we going to frame government fiscal incentive and policies to ensure that we promote those events and to ensure that we give those events the competitive advantage against other competing events of similar nature.
However, the tourism minister said one of the problems faced is the lack of communication.
I would say that maybe this year should be the year of tourism. Tourism, in my opinion, has the potential of driving the economy this year. And I say this dispassionately.
President Donald Ramatar expressed the view that the tourism sector has a great future ahead in being a major contributor to the development of Guyana. Ramatar stated that he has asked Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh and Tourism Minister Irfan Ali to make proposals to him with regards to the development of the tourism industry. He also noted that the government has been working with persons within the industry.
We have been working, the minister has made trips to Ecuador, apart from the Caribbean. We have been developing alliances with the Caribbean area and looking at the tourism, not only individually in our country, but looking at it in a more regional framework so that we can all benefit, ourselves and our partners in the region can all benefit from this growing industry here in Guyana.
President Donald Ramatar also welcomed COPA, pointing out that it will ease the hassle of travel and will generate more tourist influx. Anara Khan reporting for the Evening News.
Emergency services as well as the delivery of health services at a Saudi hospital in Region 2 has received a significant boost as the Region 2 administration, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, handed over a modern $11 million ambulance to the facility. The ambulance was purchased through the region's Capital Program 2013. Handing over the keys to the Regional Health Officer Alison Brown, Region 2 Chairman Parmanand Prasad said the new ambulance is a testimony of the government's commitment in improving the health services in Region 2. He said the ambulance will provide efficient and good healthcare services to residents living on the coast. Region 2 Vice Chairman Vishnu Samru, who was also present at the handing over ceremony, told the media that the ambulance will help transport patients from the Essequibo coast to Georgetown on referrals. Samru also advised drivers of the ambulance to be careful while transporting patients around the coast. The Ghana Teachers Union, the GTU, says that it plans to kickstart a housing revolving fund by mid-February, with several teachers slated to benefit. Samuel Suknanan tells us more.
General Secretary of the Ghana Teachers Union, Coretta MacDonald, said that while there have been a lot of back and forth with the Housing Revolving Fund for teachers, things are being fine-tuned. She explained that plans are in train to fully implement this long-awaited project by next month. MacDonald told this newscast that the number of teachers to benefit from it has increased substantially. However, the union, she said, plans to work out a system by which each of them are served on time.
In addition to the housing project, we are going to be having the teachers receiving house lots, because that's a part of the new agreement that we would have signed.
The GTU executive said apart from this, the union has also been looking to develop new strategies to keep its teachers on par with what is happening in the world, making them more effective and relevant in the classroom.
We have quite a lot of workshops planned for our teachers, and that's coming from GTU. That has nothing to do with the ministry, because we have recognized that teachers are, some of them, they're not aware of their rights. Some teachers are not aware of the things that they should do in terms of management of their classrooms, in terms of management of schools.
MacDonald explained that there are a number of other activities being planned for the remainder of the year. This will also involve teachers not only in Regions 3 and 4, but other regions across the country.
Some of the events that are going to be highlighting our year this year are going to be our conference, which is, as a matter of fact, our elections, which is going to be run off in between the months of February to April. And then we have our conference. Outside of that, we have May Day, which are, the regular activities. May Day. We have our regular summer workshop that we're going to be having with the Canadian Teachers Federation, which is going to be held in July of this year in Region 1, Mabrumo area. And then we are going to have our massive Teachers Week celebrations.
Teachers, she said, can also expect in a matter of months the 5% increase on their salaries and other benefits such as uniform allowances to be distributed soon. The GTU currently has approximately 8,000 members from across the country. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
In the courts, Sugrim Bijadar, a cash crop farmer from Erie Hall village on the Essequibo coast, was found guilty of threatening behavior. He appeared today before Magistrate Sunil Skars at the Surrey Magistrates Court. He was charged with threatening behavior at his first appearance on June 13, 2013. According to the charge, it is alleged that on June 1 at Erie Hall Bagdam, he made use of threatening behavior to his brother, Kamish Narain. Bijadar was represented by attorney at law Singh. Trial was conducted before the said magistrate, and on January 23, 2014, today's date, he was found guilty. Bijadar was fined $15,000 or 1 week in jail. And a 45-year-old shopkeeper of Parika East Bank, Essequibo, was yesterday placed on $1 million surety after she appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Priya Sinarain Bihari, charged with trafficking in persons. Larita Hyman was not required to enter a plea to the charge, which alleged that between January 13 and 20, she recruited and transported 2 women to Momasi Bagdam in the Potaro district for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Police prosecutor Michael Grant had told the court that the daughter of the accused had recruited the women and told them that they were going to be working as a shopkeeper and cook respectively at their shop at Momasi Bagdam. On arrival, the women were told that no such vacancies exist and they were being hired to work as prostitutes. The virtual complainants had refused to engage in such activities and managed to contact their relatives, who in turn contacted the Minister of Human Services and Social Security. Grant further objected to bail, citing the seriousness of the matter. He added the police are making attempts to locate the daughter of the accused, who will also be charged. Defense attorney for the defendant, Lyndon Amsterdam, had made an application for bail, citing that the matter was premature since investigations are still ongoing. His application was denied. The accused is to return to court on February 3. This is the Evening News. Stay tuned. One news still ahead. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. 23-year-old Terry Phillips was yesterday sentenced to 58 months in prison at the conclusion of his trial before Magistrate Judy Latchman at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Phillips was charged with the possession of ammunition and firearms. The charge stated that on September 16 last, at the Avenue of the Republic, he had in his possession a Taurus .32 revolver and 3 matching rounds without being the holder of a valid firearm license. Attorney at law Melville Duke, who represented Phillips, told the court that his client is a vendor and a father of 2. He added that his client had no prior convictions. Phillips had earlier told the court that he went in a vehicle along with 2 other males, and just as it pulled off, they were stopped by police. He said that the police conducted thorough searches on the occupants of the vehicle and nothing was found. He added that there was a gun lying in the grass where the car had stopped, and the police claimed that he threw it there. Police prosecutor Vishnu Hunt had stated that the ranks had seen the defendant throw the weapon on the ground. After considering the evidence presented by both parties, Magistrate Judy Latchman found the accused guilty and charged. The youth arm of a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, the Ghana Youth and Student Movement, GYSM, says that too much time has been wasted on national youth policy, noting that it only has inputs from youths in Regions 3 and 4. More from Natasha Aziz.
The Guyana Youth and Student Movement, GYSM, has criticized the time being taken to compile a national youth policy for Guyana and the process itself. GYSM's National Secretary Adele Lilly told the Evening News that while the group endorses the policy, only youths primarily in Region 4 have seen the document.
We had no input inside in the formation of the youth policy and the draft youth policy, I must say. Notwithstanding that we have had members who serve in different other capacities in the country, that they have had their input and they have been involved, but as an organization, we wasn't involved. More so, we were given a list of dates for consultations, and when we were given that list, it was in the middle of that consultation, and we felt that shouldn't have been.
Impressive, needed, and good initiative were words used in describing the policy from the Secretary. Lilly added that GYSM supports the national policy. However, he made clear the concerns of the group.
And that concern is the widespread approach to the youth policy. Was young people involved generally, the Guyanese young people? Now, I want to make it very clear that we are saying that, look, yes, this youth policy is a good policy. Yes, it's good policy. But we are also saying that young people should be involved at every level.
Lilly said that they are displeased with the level of involvement in this policy, which is a national policy and will benefit hundreds of youths in the future. For the Evening News, Natasha Aziz.
The Ghana Fire Service said that the 2 fires that devastated the business of Comfort Sleep late last year were all miraculously set, and the police have taken over the criminal probe into the matter. Fire Chief Marlon Gentle told this newscast on Wednesday that the investigations have been completed. Although stating that the fires were maliciously set, Gentle did not want to disclose what was used to start the inferno, insisting that the criminal investigations are still ongoing. When the Evening News contacted the owner of the factory, he did not want to give any comments, explaining that he does not want any trouble with anyone. The last fire was on November 28 at the business's industrial site Eccles East Bank, Demerara Bond. Officials were initially puzzled as to how the fire started. This is the Evening News. Stay tuned for sports, sponsored by Maccorp after the break. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at sport. In the headlines, the dates for a second Limacol Caribbean Premier League season announced. Alicia Chavert pays courtesy call on Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, and the local table tennis season serves off this month. Now for the details. We start with some cricket news. The highly anticipated second edition of the Limacol Caribbean Premier League tournament will commence on July 10 and conclude on August 16, with Guyana hosting several of the 30 matches to be played. Rajiv Bisnot reports.
The announcement was made by Limekol CPL Chief Executive Officer Peter Russell during a reception hosted by the Ministry of Tourism on Wednesday evening at Palm Court. Meanwhile, Russell disclosed that the cricket tournament, which took the region by storm in July and August last year in becoming the Premier League of the Caribbean, will be no less different this time around. He disclosed that this year's tournament will be bigger and better, with a more broadened scope of international viewership as well as much more well-known international and West Indies players participating.
What's exciting about the Caribbean Premier League is that there are no boundaries in terms of where we take this brand. For us, it's all about creating an international property that resonates both in the world of cricket and with fans across all the many cricketing countries. We're determined in 2014 to make sure the job that we've done in the Caribbean, which is to obviously develop the product, make sure it is successful in all the home countries, the 6 countries where the event is played.
The inaugural tournament featured players from New Zealand, South Africa, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Australia and Sri Lanka playing alongside the West Indies players. Jamaica's Tallawahs won the inaugural tournament when they defeated the Guyana Amazon Warriors by 7 wickets.
The lone Guyanese on the Pan American Elite Hockey squad, Alicia Chavert, paid a courtesy call on Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today at his office. Here's more. According to President of the Guyana Hockey Board, Philip Fernandes, the Pan American Hockey Federation selected an all-star team for players from all of the Americas every 2 years based on their performance during that time. Chavert is the first Guyanese to be selected in the history of the arrangement and has landed a hockey scholarship at the Miami University in Ohio in 2013. She is the lone Guyanese among 5 players from world champions Argentina, 3 each from the USA and Canada, 2 from Chile, and 1 each from Mexico and Uruguay.
Every 2 years, the Pan American Hockey Federation selects an elite team. And it is basically the best, like an all-star team for all of the Americas. So from Canada right down through to Argentina. And so for 2012 and 2013, they have selected Alicia to be part of that team. And what they do is all the international tournaments played within that time frame. They have the officials and so on are observing the players during that time, and then they select at the end of it the players that they choose to be the elite. So it's a significant achievement for Lisa because she's competing against world-class athletes in some cases.
Dr. Anthony lauded Chavert on her achievement and also had a few words of encouragement to offer.
As Philip said, this is a first for us, but I hope it would not be the last. I'm sure that you would inspire a lot of young women to get involved in hockey and in sports in general. I think one of the challenges that we have in Guyana is that there are not a lot of young women involved in sports, and I think you can become that role model for so many young women out there, and to show them that it's, you know, you can have a holistic life, a balanced life by doing both sports, academics and so forth.
Chavert, who is arguably the leading goalkeeper in the English-speaking Caribbean, shared her experience so far on the scholarship.
I only get to train this year with them, but I start spring, this semester. I'm going back on Friday, and I play as their first keeper from this year, so should be excited. The training over there is great, amazing. So, but it's nothing easy. School and hockey put together, hard.
Since 2007, Chavert has been a fixture in the national women's hockey team as the first-choice goalkeeper and was one of the key players responsible for Guyana's rise in the world rankings over the past few years, including a record 20-place jump in 2013. And finally, the Guyana Table Tennis Association, the GTTA, will serve off its National League later this month at venues across Guyana, and it is expected to last until April. The tournament, which will start in a round-robin format before heading out to the knockout stages, will be a team tournament divided into 3 divisions, A, B and C, with the deadline to submit full teams being January 29. Each team is allowed the maximum of 2 entrants in each division, with each entrance having at least 3 members. However, no player will be allowed to play for 2 teams in one division or in separate divisions. Teams will have to pay an entrance fee of $2,000 to enter. In case you've just joined us, this is the evening news, of course, that brought us to the end of sport. And you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned, your Bridge Reports next. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Damrar Harbour Bridge will be closed on Friday, January 24 at 10 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Friday, January 24 at 9 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the Evening News for Thursday, January 23, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.